Welcome and good evening to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph, streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. As always, I have Neindorf with me tonight. Neindorf, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I feel like I missed a couple, and I appreciate some of the members of our guild and community stepping in for me.
Yeah, no worries. It's I would say while I hit last week, I certainly feel like I've been um, out of the game at least for the last couple weeks. It's been I don't know. It's been some stuff going on at home. Busy working on some other projects. Busy at work. It's been kind of tough to get into it, but the game's pulling me back in with the exciting new news that we have.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like, weather's kind of starting to try to get nicer, and you were waiting for these big announcements, and finally now today, like we kind of see a layout of all these awesome features we've been kind of waiting for, and yeah, I can't wait to go through them.
Yeah, well, big thank you to all of us tuning in out, or all of you out there tuning in tonight. And we want to take some of your questions throughout the show. So go ahead and start dropping us questions in YouTube chat, and we'll see if we can respond to you as we go along. And actually, one thing that we did last time that was fun, we did it out of necessity. Invited some people up on stage. Um, shout your name out, and we'll call one person up at random to jump up with us a little later. So go ahead and shoot me a DM or drop something in YouTube chat if you're really interested in coming up.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I really love that idea.
All right, so let's start with do you have a question of the day lined up?
Sure, we might as well jump right into it. It's uh, relevant to the announcement, of course, but to premium treat or not to premium treat? That is the question.
That is the question. Um, and also, speaking of treats, I love the fake out that Mr. Zipper gave us
Oh,
in the
that was
Discord chat.
hilarious.
Yeah, so you want to answer that while I ponder the premium or not to premium
Sure.
question?
Yeah. Basically, Zipper made a comment that you'd have to craft treats one at a time, one transaction at a time, and I was like, wait, what? One? And yeah, he totally pulled one over on me. So yeah, worth a shout out for that. That was pretty clever on his part. Yeah, for me, it's a balance of costs versus the experience, because really the difference is you get for four times the price of a regular treat, you get a premium treat, but you don't get four times the duration. You get three and a third times the duration.
Hmm.
So the trade-off is obviously A, quality of life if you're manually doing this, and B, that extra 2% XP.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the stats. So I guess maybe with that in mind, where do you sit?
Yeah, I'm on the not premium treat train right now. I could be wrong, but I also don't have a lot invested in pets. I sold off all my mythics before we got to today to feed my summoning habit that I had. Um, and so, I still have been collecting, 3-star pets for the professions to try to get some boosted experience. But I am going to be missing out on that rarity based experience. And so, I'm already, and what is that? Is that an extra 20% boost? Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
so
think for a
already
mythic,
I'm,
I
I'm
think
kind
it's
of
one.
missing out on some of that. And so I kind of feel like it's a min-maxing game. And so if I can't hit the max already, I don't really need to invest in kind of partial maxes.
That's a good point. Yeah, and I'm very similar in thought. I kept one mythic pet. Just I'm like, you know what, my Dread Knight, he deserves a mythic pet. Whether I use it that way or not, we'll see. But I also did sell my other two mythic pets. But for me, it's basically the mat gatherers, the profession questers. I really don't need to power level them. Like I don't really care what level they're at, as long as their profession skills keep going up and they're bringing in more materials. Because again, I'm pretty sure two-thirds of their haul is based on their profession skill, not their actual stats. So if, with that in mind, XP is not as important because level's not as important because stats aren't as important. So I think with that alone, and obviously, I may or may not run a bot. I will probably just have the bot do the treats for me. So the quality of life is kind of a non-factor too.
Right. And I may or may not run the Nine-Dwarf bot when I remember to turn my Pi on. So, yeah, I mean, that's how
Uh,
bad it's been for me the last week. I told you just before the show started, I was like, oops, I realized the Pi was off for a few days. Um, and had not been questing. So trying to get back into it. Really want to go after the Bob Nothing strategy. Did you get a chance to hear what his idea is on kind of level up your heroes first, then really go for the power heroes later, a little later on?
yeah, I mean, I caught it briefly. I haven't had a chance to really digest it though. But yeah, I get the gist of it, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm gonna completely butcher it and not do him justice. So apologies, Bob, if I'm kind of missing this entirely. Well, here, kind of the theory or the premise is we don't really know what's going to be most powerful in the skill tree. And so we don't really know which stat we should try to maximize. And the entire point of dark summoning is trying to control a lot of your variables and use a stone, which gives you the best chance to max what you're going to go for and max that stat that you're going to go for. And because we don't really know what the skill trees look like, right now, one is better off leveling up the heroes, the two parents that will summon together, making sure that you're accumulating those levels, and then when you go to dark summon, you can burn those and you can level up that hero and pick the stat at that time. So it buys you a little bit of time to figure out the lay of the land, so to speak, which really
That's interesting.
aligns with kind of where I'm going. I feel like I'm kind of combining Mean Machine and Bob's strategy because I'm also I actually just I found a greater vigor stone on urn today. I
Nice.
spent a pretty penny on that bad boy, but I now have a couple heroes with second life, and so at some point I'm going to be trying to summon a hero, with second life again. I maybe go for that double second life. We'll see. Um,
Wow.
they are commons. All of my second life heroes are commons, so I don't have that rarity boost. So I don't. I got some. I got a lot of work to do in the lab, so I can't figure out what I'm quite doing yet.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that I really agree with that point about getting those levels up in regards to dark summoning. It kind of is a counterpoint to what I had said earlier about not really caring about levels and stats and wanting to level up your jobbers if you or not level up your jobbers quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, dark summoning heroes, you're typically kind of going for more of a PvE, PvP style.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going for a jobber, I suppose. So maybe they're just counter strategies for the different calibers of hero you're trying to make. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think for a PvE hero or PvP rather, yeah, definitely going for that strategy that plays to the stat tree or skill tree rather. Sorry. Well, yeah, until we know how they play, to your point, it's very difficult. Like if you say you're in love with the one of the abilities on I don't know, let's just say the pirate, for example. But if it doesn't happen to play well, or it doesn't, or there's an easy counter to it that say a warrior has, well then that hero kind of lost a lot of value. So I kind of I have to totally agree with that actually now that you've talked through that strategy.
All right. Well, I got some great news. Bob himself said that he would be willing to jump on. So I'm
All
going to go
right,
ahead
let's
and
do it.
shoot him an invite. Um, if you want to help stall for time, because I am notoriously horrible at multitasking, and all I can do is concentrate on trying to get him the link to jump into chat here.
Sure, yeah. Well, I think the next thing is be like I think it'd be nice to talk through some of these other announcements too. So obviously this is all related to their Giga Patch or the the special event here with all these updates. But I think another one to watch out for people who are hatching eggs is just pause for a moment. You might as well wait until the ultra rare variants are out there, even if you don't necessarily care. That could land you a pretty penny if you happen to strike it. So I
Yeah.
personally, I'm not gonna open another egg until that's out at the very least.
I agree. I agree. Well, Bob, you're on the show now. We were just talking about your strategy. I hope I got the gist of it correct. How are you tonight?
Hey, I was actually watching you at 1.5 speed because I was catching the end of a Six Intern stream, so I was kind of double dipping when I messaged you, but I'm pretty much caught up. Yeah, I'm doing great.
Excellent. Yeah, I have maximum
But yeah, you got the
distraction.
gist.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you got the gist of it. I heard that part.
All right, good deal. Well, I was just gonna comment here. I got maximum distraction value. I have my two animals fighting on either side of this chair, and they're each scratching the chair. And the other one thinks that there's a different kind of animal on the other side of the chair than there's actually there. We just have a very silly cat and a dog, and it would be quite entertaining if I could show this, but I can't. So that's my lame cat and dog story of the night. All right, what are you planning on? Okay, so are you planning on hatching any eggs right away, Bob, or are you gonna wait like Neindorf is? Wait for the ultra rare variants to be out.
Nah, nah, I'm not in a hurry. That's part of my whole strategy with PvP. It applies to pets too. I've been stacking up the ingredients, the eggs. I've actually been LPing the eggs and the tiers and
Mm-hmm.
gold just in preparation for this. So I'm just looking to sell. But
Yeah.
I will eventually do all the things because I that's what you get to do when you have a army of heroes auto questing.
Right.
You can just do it later. So
I've
that's what
been
I'll do.
I've been LPing Crystal and Tears, and kind of my plan is I'd like to ride out in the LP pools maybe the first week or so of egg hatching being out, and then depending on kind of how the transactions are going with tiers and what it looks like in the market, I might start selling off. But yeah, I've accumulated quite a few tiers, as Neindorf has helped me do. He has
Oh yeah.
a auction bot on the side that I've been using to grab some tiers for me. So, yeah, have you grabbed any materials, Neindorf?
Honestly, I've just what the heroes have been gathering, and I've been pretty, pretty on par keeping them running and having never full stamina. So with that in mind, I've got a fairly good pile. I did actually pull my gold LP out just because of the fact that I already saw it converting into crystal. And I was like, I actually think I'm going to need this gold, whether it be, ADFK guild related for the
Mm-hmm.
land that we have, or some of these events, or hatching a lot of these eggs. So I actually just pulled the gold out to preserve it, in a sense that I think it's going to be even more valuable. And crystal is probably going to stay relatively consistent, maybe even drop a little bit. So I was just noticing that the conversion rate of gold back to crystal was going the wrong direction for where I want to be. Otherwise, I'm totally for the LP pools. It's just I kind of have that feeling that I need gold. So I bailed out of that one. I'm still in all the other ones though.
Yeah, I LP at all mine with Jules, so I'm actually just happy if they moon. I don't really care about the IL or impermanent loss. Um,
Gotcha.
because yeah, I mean, I think we're in such a closed environment that for this stuff to pump, Crystal, Jade, and Jewel. I mean, even Jewel is the most pristine asset. You see its price action. This is all really bullish for Jewel, but people got to sell something. So I'm just happy to convert this stuff into Jewel, honestly, because a month down the road, 2 months down the road, it just shifts. You see it shift back and forth all the time.
That's a good point. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with converting into jewel. I totally hear you there.
All right, so I'm gonna go down some of the patch notes we haven't touched on yet, and give you guys a chance to comment on them, talk about some strategy, or are you impressed? Gonna wait? So on and so forth. So let's go to pet equipping. This is kind of at the end of the patch notes, and that is going to be a part of Duel Season 4. So, how do you guys feel about pets becoming equipment right away? I shouldn't say right away, but I was not expecting it to be a part of duels. Maybe I missed that in some of the notes earlier, but that seemed like a new development. Am I wrong there?
No, they said it, but I didn't really kind of think about it that much until I saw in the patch notes. I was just kind of thinking through it on Grady's stream a couple hours ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I really think it's a big deal. It depends on how far they push it. They said it's going to be like a static bonus based on your rarity, so it doesn't really tell you how much it's going to give you. Like it could give you 5% for mythic, 4% for legendary, and down like that, or it could be like 10% or 15% and down like that. And if it's that, like the margins are so thin at the top of the ladder for duels, like you're going to need mythic pets, period,
Right away.
Yeah.
if you want to compete at the high levels. I mean, you won't. You can just muck about and collect the rewards like I do on most of my wallets in like the diamond area, but it's going to be a big deal if they push it. So they haven't released how much they're going to push it or not in terms of numbers.
Yeah,
Right.
I have a feeling, just the way that they've been incentivizing duels lately, and I'm probably the last one to the party. I dueled a little bit at first, and as I've been telling Neindorf, I've been kind of struggling to play the game. Hell, I've been struggling to even just turn on my Raspberry Pi. So I have not been doing a lot of dueling, but Neindorf, I know you have recently. You started to get into it in season 3 here. So are you going to be equipping your pets, and are you excited that you hung on to a mythic?
Yeah, yeah. The tail end of season 3, I got in. So it was funny. I had a one day where I was working from home here, and I just threw my laptop on on the other side of the desk, and every half hour I'd look over at it and launch another one. And if you have enough heroes that are high level 10 plus, like I have just accumulated from playing for so long, and you wait till late in the season, you can get to the mid rare tiers very easily, and get some good ROI with very few transactions, honestly. So that was kind of my strategy, and I'll probably do it the same way. I'll probably let people have the early season fun.
Wait for the
I'll never
resources
go
to
to
get
try to.
out in front.
Yeah, yeah. It was really. I tell you what, though, it was pretty fun when I was like uncommon 1 and I'm beating like legendary 2. Like that was super enjoyable.
Yeah, I did the same thing on some of my secondary wallets. It was kind of the Brown Gent and Aphex kind of Twitter thread. That was really profitable.
Yeah, because it was like, I mean, you get a few gold eggs and
Yeah,
a
yeah, you
bunch
get
of
a bunch of eggs,
pods.
stand pots, and then the tickets, which I've been spending recently. I mean, I won a bunch of regular stones and crystals and stuff with that.
Yeah, I
It
saw
mattered.
that. That you're right. That's a big deal. I'm feeling a little FOMO now, guys.
Don't worry, it's coming up. What I think they said it'll be in the next couple weeks maybe. They'll come back.
I don't
Right.
think they said, but yeah,
Oh, maybe they
um,
didn't.
yeah. I've been
Um,
I've been doing Fight Club in the interim. It's been
I
very profitable.
I think they're targeting, and we might have like inside knowledge with Fight Club. I think they're targeting next week is when they want to start, but we'll
Dang, that'd be
see.
soon.
That
Um,
makes sense
yeah,
with the pet rollout. That makes sense.
It
yeah.
does, yeah. Everything's kind of going in all at once here. So I could see that too, actually.
Okay, so we touched on um, the blue and gray. We touched on the odd variants, green egg hatching. So are you gonna wait on the green eggs, or are you gonna have reels that you do have?
I will probably hatch them right away and hope that I get some of the old power surge boosts where you boost your power token outputs from gardens. Like that is going to be
Yeah.
like the creme de la creme of pet boost in my opinion.
Yes. See, I agree. LPing is kind of at all time low just because of the power tokens. But that stuff, if that changes, like that's definitely going to be the best one. Power Surge has the most potential, because the gardening rewards from the wallet, the Quest wallet, are really high.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've actually I used to have a bunch of Jewel BTC, Jewel ETH, but I kind of sold that over 30,000, which was probably a pretty good idea. And I didn't put it all into Jewel USDC like I had planned because the gardening rewards were just not that high. But so I've just been holding a lot of spot Jewel, doing nothing.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
but but the gardening rewards are high, and if I can get a good mythic pet or legendary pets with that power surge, I think that's going to be huge because there's just not many people in the LPs because the APRs are so low because of the power tokens.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah, and
holding a lot of Dead Jewel too, just kind of sitting there in the wallet because I'm with the APR's not high, and like my fear of Jewel token going up and there being possible LP impermanent loss, that's I'm just kind of scared to throw it in, but add in a few more incentives, like Power Surge, and I think I'm gonna jump in.
and what I've found myself doing, not really intentionally, but I've been actually converting green eggs into yellow eggs just because I'm like, there's like a huge price discrepancy.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, once
Yeah, they're
all the
not
pet
far
variants
behind.
are released, a pet's a pet's a pet. So
Mm-hmm.
like, I think I'm down to like 16 green eggs and I've got like 50 or 60 yellows. Just I'm like, if I get 3 to 1, like that's a no-brainer to me.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think they're that far behind. That's kind of what
Mm,
they said.
correct. Now, that being said, I don't know that you're gonna have uh, the crazy powers. Like Power Surge seems to me to be like unbeatable as far as pet boosts, but I don't know, maybe because gold's not as valuable at the moment. I mean, maybe it will be.
Yeah,
And
miners are
like,
down a lot. So
oh, the miners are way down.
way down. Like just the power tokens are just killing
Yeah.
them.
All right. So the last thing to talk about, maybe the biggest thing to talk about, profession skill level 10. Um, there's not a lot to speculate at this point, so I'll go to maybe one of my tried and true. Do you think they're going to open up a new place on the map, a new image location in town for profession skill level 10? You think it's going to still be in the same old, just a different selection menu? What do you guys think?
I'll let you jump in first.
So by new place on the map, do you mean like a new place on the world map, or do you mean like within
With
like the
within
marketplace?
within the visible marketplace area.
I don't know. Maybe.
New zones.
Hold on, if I had answered on the global map, would
No,
you have said
the
yes?
world map would have been interesting because that would be a big reveal. Like that
Yeah,
the level 10 profession quest, I would say that's what we have the least amount of information on at this
right,
point
right.
because they could surprise us with that. I don't think it'll be like travel, but
No,
that would be pretty cool if it was, because
it,
that's what I thought you were talking about with it with respect to world map. In terms of a marketplace 3, I kind of just hope they don't. They can just cram in another NPC there for all I care because
yeah,
it's just no.
Otherwise, there's more clicking you just have to do, right?
Yeah,
Granted, don't get me wrong. I love to see the artwork and the new zones are always exciting. So I think it would be really cool if there's a new zone. I would absolutely love it if it was travel related because I've been on that for about a year and a half now. But we'll get there. No worries.
yeah. Speaking of travel, let's talk about our future lineup. We have a podcast guest coming on potentially next week, probably the week after, because I've been lazy in my question gathering and uh, question setup process. But Hubert has agreed to come on, and our plan is to talk about the kind of the core concepts of game loop, travel mechanics, and crafting. So I'm really excited for that podcast. I tried to give him an out when it came to like what we're going to talk about, and but he was very open to, all right, as long as it's not like exact numbers, like travel will take you X number of hours or X minutes or X days or X months or X years. Um, we can talk about what we want travel to accomplish in the game, how it'll drive choice. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I think travel's one of the things that's going to make this game. I mean, I think it's kind of a tipping point. I think that obviously PvP will be huge too, but I just you got to know that there's a lot of players that play styles. I mean, myself included. Maybe I'm speaking for myself here, actually, not maybe anybody else, but just that concept of taking these heroes across the map and doing dungeon crawling, finding the loot is what this game looks like. It's what I've wanted. I just think that is the moment where this game becomes, yes, that's finally I'm playing DeFi Kingdoms for real now. So that's the part where I cannot wait for us to get to.
What are your thoughts on travel, Bob?
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things I gleaned from at least a recent AMA, excuse me, was that they kind of snapped back when somebody just kind of said that they weren't working on travel and stuff in the background, and they're like, "Oh no, we're definitely working on it." And also some other things that I've heard, Risen and Bolin say recently is that we have stuff completed that we're just not releasing yet because it's not time yet. So like now that they got all these contracts and all the gigapatch stuff, like it's not impossible that they have stuff like ready. And that, Hubert is just kind of like bottled up and not able to talk about stuff because it's just not time, but it's not because it's not ready. I mean, I think that's possible. Maybe it's hopium. If he's willing to talk about it, I'm gonna listen to everything the word, everything the man says. But I don't think it's impossible that they've got a really good fleshed out version of it, and it's just not time yet.
Yeah,
But they got to get through this patch. I mean, it's huge. It's the giga patch.
I can tell you from my trip to Minneapolis, they have equipment developed a lot. I think equipment is one of those things that they have conceptually developed fully, and I think they have stuff in testing, in beta testing already. That's far along. I didn't get a chance to see it, but the way that they were talking about equipment and the way they were talking about combat, once combat releases out of the pre-alpha stage, you will start out with a level zero piece of equipment, weapon, shield, whatever it is, on your hero. And they were testing, from what I was told, they were testing the higher level pieces of equipment on the heroes already. So they're
Yeah,
already looking at
Oh man.
how
yeah, that's
weapons are incorporated into combat. So I think that's a great example of where they are way farther ahead than what they've released.
yeah, that's
I
what
would
I
recklessly
mean
expect.
by That's what I mean by snapped back when somebody kind of asked a question or something came up where it's like, okay, you guys are spending all your time on these eggs and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I'm putting all this on the back burner. And they're like, no, we're not. We're definitely not. By the way, we would like you to know that. It's just an order of operations. We need to do this first.
Yeah.
But we absolutely have other stuff that we've worked on. So maybe it's hopium, maybe not. But I definitely noticed that they snapped back on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's that I think I guess now that I'm listening, I've listened to you talk, you basically hit all my points. So you kind of left me bumbling here a little bit, but yeah, that's the hard part as a developer to how do you can't really give partial. I can't demo something to you until it's done, especially if this feature, maybe I need this graphical feature or I need this equipable pet first. And I know that that some of the more nerdy stuff they talked about in the AMAs, which I totally get, is the whole contract upgrade.
Yeah.
It isn't exciting and glamorous, but there are severe limitations to how much code you can put into a contract before this diamond pattern was switched to. So you just couldn't do a lot of logic. You couldn't say if this, else that, in this. So it doesn't, it's not glorious or glamorous, but it definitely opens the door for all of these really cool mixes between, pets and heroes and boosts and treats and all this stuff. So yeah,
I,
hopefully that rambling
I
helps.
totally agree because, remember when Kels was in Miami, he was sending us pictures of the green egg pets. They had the art fully developed back in DC Miami, last year. And so I totally agree with you. I think they've been waiting out of necessity because they needed the level 10 quests to be developed, but those are so complex they needed the diamond contracts to be released. So yeah, I think I think to kind of tie both of your points together, they have a lot of stuff in the hopper that is kind of being held back based on the fact that this is a cutting edge game where they are developing things from scratch. Like they are reinventing the wheel on a daily basis, which is pretty cool. All right. Have you guys caught any? Speaking of kind of developing things fresh, I have been out of it. I have not caught any of Barcelona. Have you guys had a chance to tune in to anything today?
Not yet.
I have not.
All right. Well,
We'll have to hit that.
Is it?
yeah, we'll have to get that later.
No, I looked on the DFK YouTube and I didn't see it last I checked, but I was kind of hoping there was something.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I don't know how.
All right. Well, any other comments, questions, things? Otherwise, I can give you guys kind of a brief preview into something that I've been looking at. I've been working on Stable Diffusion and trying to download that. I have no idea how I'm going to use this yet. That's a lie. I have an idea of what I want to do with it. And so I thought about like crowdsourcing something tonight. So I started like using Stable Diffusion to create some art. I will warn you that if you're offended by the Michelangelo statue, these gargoyles might offend you too. Some pop culture jokes there. Okay, so I've been using Stable Diffusion, and one of the things that I was telling Neindorf the other day, I had my kids like actually give me an image, or actually they built a thing out of Legos, a lizard out of Legos, and I ended up taking a picture of that lizard and then doing a text to image creation. And I thought it would be kind of fun if we created like a bad guy that we want to see in game. And so I was thinking like a gargoyle character. Now, I'm okay with the gargoyle being vicious, but I don't want it to be scary. So have you used any Stable Diffusion, Bob, as I kind of am typing in some prompts here?
No, I don't know what this is. I'm probably the least artistic person you've ever met.
Oh, I am too. That's why this is incredible. Neindorf, I know you've used it. You got me kind of hooked on it. So
Yeah.
it is an AI art generation system. Why don't you kind of give some of the brief background on it?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically it's you just type it's kind of like, Chat GPT, right? It's text to text. Well, Stable Diffusion is text to artwork. Um, and so it's a really cool way where you can type in what you're looking for. You got to be very explicit. This style, I want this and this and this and this. And then I think what you're getting at, the complexities of this RAF are the models and the checkpoints that you have to use and intermix to get an output that you want. Um, but basically, I've used it. I was playing around. I had a cutout of my Dread Knight that I snipped it and I cut it out with like just a simple program, so that it was just him on a white background. And I threw him in here, and I got some pretty cool, uh, pretty cool images. I don't know, Raph, do you happen to? I'll paste those in. Maybe you could throw those up too.
Yeah, let
I thought that
me
was pretty
let me go
fun.
over into chat and
Which chat do you want me to drop them into?
I think I can grab it from
I'll
yeah
paste it
in our
between
chat,
our
our personal chat. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm trying to paste on the wrong keyboard. I got too many computers.
Um,
Okay, there's the original.
all right, I'm gonna show
I
you
just
guys
pasted.
also the lizard that I had. So I'm gonna do this first while I'm pulling
Yeah,
up
yeah.
Neindorf's images. So this is the lizard I had my son make. He's 8 years old, and he just absolutely loved this. And then this is what we ended up getting out of. Am I sharing my screen right now, Bob? Can you see this in
Yeah, that
chat?
looks good.
This is what we ended up getting with the lizard. So I'm gonna go back and forth. Like, this is so cool. I don't know why it has these little. I don't know if those are turd droplets or food. I'm not sure what
Food,
the lizard
maybe?
was doing. Looks like food. All right, so let me go back over to our chat, Neindorf. Yeah, so this is your Dread Knight that you pulled
Stanway
up.
Gray Bash right there.
and with Giant Slayer, right? And
Yep.
this is what we pulled up out of Stable Diffusion. So I don't know, a lot of fun. Um, and I would say neither of us have an artistic bone in our body either. So this is something for you to check out, Bob. All right, so check out these gargoyles that we created. Oh,
Those
look,
are
I said How
cool.
to Train Your
Cool.
Dragon, and it looks like the How to Train Your Dragon one. Um,
See,
this one,
one's got like a 12 pack.
yeah.
Some of them
It
have,
does.
And
woman
some of them
parts.
are a little disfigured
Pretty
too.
cool.
I need some more negative prompts in there, like no
Guy looks like a
disfiguration.
goblin. I like it.
Yeah, like so all of these. So then I downloaded. I'm gonna try this on the fly, which is always dangerous. Um, I'm gonna try to enable pixelization, which is something new that I downloaded here. And so we're gonna see if we can pixelate this guy to see what he would look like if like they made him a baddie in the game. All right, so here we go. How awesome is this?
Actually, that works.
That's
Pretty
pretty
cool. I think you need
pretty
some
damn
color.
cool. Yeah. So now what you can do is, well, like the pros, what they'll do is they'll take it to Photoshop. They'll do some editing in Photoshop. Then they'll put it back into the image generation. So then what you can do is you can send this text to image, and then you can change. So let's say uh, gargoyle on fire, purple glowing flames, and
Yeah, he's
sharp
going for it here.
claws. Yeah, let's see what happens. And I have no idea what'll happen when it's already pixelated. What'll turn out here? We got something showing up. Oh, and you gotta have a lot of RAM, video RAM on your graphics processor. My computer, I was kind of bitching to Dindorf about it this morning, or lamenting. Um, oh, that's pretty ugly. So yeah, that didn't work out.
What if you
This is
say
where it
like
takes a
what
little
if
bit
you
of,
say like anime style or something?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's
and
too
then
realistic.
you gotta if you lower the one score, like if you go to 0, it'll like keep the exact same image, and if you go to 1, it's like it could be completely
Totally new.
unrelated. So there's like so much. I don't know. I've lost hours playing with this. I don't even really have a goal, but it's just fun to see what it makes,
Yeah.
honestly.
So I had to change a whole bunch of settings on my computer just for my computer to work. Which I have it on like low processing speeds now. So I have the sampling steps up way high, probably way too high, um, for this to actually get done in a reasonable period of time. So I'm gonna
Well,
interrupt.
it's chugging.
I'm gonna let's let's start over. Yeah, so we'll see what happens anime style, but I think this is pretty neat. To me, it's like cutting edge technology. I love the possible mergers with Web3. So I don't know, and it's fun. I'm trying to teach my kids how to use ChatGPT and Stable Diffusion. Like I feel like it's going to be the thing of the future. So for anyone who actually ended up sticking around for the rest of the podcast, I appreciate letting us ramble off topic here. Let's see what this generates, and then we'll close it
We got any
down.
questions on chat while we're chilling?
Yeah, let me. Rebel Scum saying, oh, not quite a question. Pin him down on a season, like maybe winter.
Oh, sure.
How do you, Rebel Scum saying, how do you get Stable Diffusion to use the exact same character in different positions? It is possible. I'm trying to learn how to do it. There are people who have videos around it. I think the way that you have to do it is you have to train models, and then you do exactly what Nidorf is talking about, where you change your denoising strength, and then you change when it creates its variation in the generation of the AI image. And so you can actually say like, I want it to be it's often, I think it's creative during the first few steps of the image, and then it does fine-tuning details at the last step. And so there is it's called control point, is something that I've tried to play with. I am not an expert on it. So go ahead and YouTube how to do control point, and a lot of people are able to achieve different poses with the same image, which is pretty cool. All right, so that totally did not work. All right, so we got a gargoyle that's gray, um, and that's what's gonna work. I wonder if a lot of it has to do with it already being pixelated, that it just doesn't know how to handle it. Like maybe pixelation has to be like the last step in the process. So, all right, we got a sweet baddie. We're all gonna go fight him tonight. Bob, Neindorf, and I are gonna team up. Let's take him down.
Let's get him rolled into Fight Club.
Yeah. All right, so that's all I had. Let me double check on YouTube to see if there's any other questions. Closing comments for you, Bob.
It really took a toll on my self-esteem.
Hey.
I eventually came out to more and more.
Shout out to Sticks, full blown Sticks.
All
there
right.
we go.
Yeah. No, I'm stoked. I can't wait to re-roll on my pets. I got like 100 something. It's gonna be great.
Nice. All right, Neindorf, any closing comments for you?
Yeah, same thing here. I think that's going to be one of the fun events. And I was commenting with Raph here before the show that we, as ADFK Guild, still have all of our guild heroes need to be re-rolled for crafting genes too. So we got to get an event scheduled with everybody to come re-roll all those heroes and see if we get any really cool, element plus gene mixes for the guild. So that'll be cool. The pets will be cool. Honestly, the nerdy diamond stuff in the contracts really is awesome. I wish I could see more of the under the hood and how that works and learn from them. But yeah, one can dream. But otherwise, yeah, I love to see this material price action. I think we've all been waiting for so long, for some math to be useful. So I think as we get going here, this is really what we're looking for, and there's just going to be more and more utility. I think with every release, honestly, from here on out. So super bullish about this game.
As am I. As am I. Glad I'm holding on to Jewel like Bob. All right. Well, for the hot air balloon, that's Raph, Neindorf, and Bob, special guest. Thank you very much for coming on. And thank you, as always, to our amazing listeners out there. We love you guys. Stay safe out there in the crypto world, and good luck with your egg hatching.